Well, Michael Fabricant is the Conservative MP for Lichfield in Staffordshire and joins me now. Michael, you, of course, were perhaps one of the biggest champions of soon-to-be ex-Prime Minister Boris Johnson. So who are you backing to fill those boots?
Well, I'm backing Penny Mordaunt. And by the way, I was very impressed with what Tom Harwood had to say. As ever, he had most of the politics there on the nail. The main hustings, which he didn't mention, is going to be on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, the big date tomorrow, at 5 o'clock, there's going to be the announcement of the results, because we'll be voting tomorrow between 1:30 and 2:30. And the interesting thing is that although you've got 10 runners and riders, I don't think that all 10 are actually going to meet the criteria as to have 20 people nominating them. So there'll be a lot of people dropping out, just like Grant Shapps did, and moving across to Rishi Sunak and others. So then we'll have the, as I say, 1:30 to 2:30 tomorrow, the first ballot. Then 5 o'clock, we have the announcement of the results, and that's immediately followed by hustings for all the candidates who are remaining, and that's for all the parliamentary party, not just the small group that Tom spoke about just now. And who am I backing? I'm backing Penny Mordaunt.
Michael, you could give me a run for my money doing my job. That was a brilliant analysis there. I mean, what's interesting, I think, about this contest is people who haven't served in cabinet, backbenchers, people who weren't necessarily household names, are actually doing really well, especially when you look at polling of grassroots. Does that excite you that we might be able to have a completely refreshed cabinet, or does that fill you with fear?
Well, what fills me with fear is that you're absolutely right in that Rishi Sunak has got by far the biggest number of MPs supporting him. But all the polls that have been done amongst Conservative Party members, round about 200,000, just under, don't actually have Rishi Sunak as being all that popular. Rightly or wrongly, people assume that he's the guy who's responsible for certain things that have happened already, and they want to change. And the most popular person does seem to be Penny. So for once, I seem to be on the side of a possible winner, providing Penny is in the final two. And what worries me is that there might be some dirty shenanigans amongst the leadership contenders to keep Penny out. And that's the sort of thing that goes on in Parliament, I'm afraid.
Talking about dirty shenanigans and skullduggery, what do you make of the 1922 committee changing the rules fairly late on in the game and really accelerating the pace of this contest? It feels to me that even though the general public don't get a vote on this, we're not getting much time to really look in the whites of the eyes of the people who are vying to be the next Prime Minister.
Yeah, I'm afraid I think it was a necessity, though. I don't think they had much choice in the matter, because Parliament rises for the long summer recess at the end of next week. In practice, most people will be gone by Wednesday evening of next week. So we had to make a decision before then. And if we'd stuck to the old rules, and I love, by the way, this picture of me. Can you see I'm on the right? You can see the back of my head. I'm the one with the blonde hair, nodding and pounding the table. Funnily enough, the clip that you're showing is the clip when they announced that Boris Johnson had won the vote of no confidence. So in a way, it's all the broadcasters have been showing that particular clip, and it does slightly amuse me given now what has happened.
Do you know, looking at that clip, you would go down really well in my local pub quiz. And indeed, you'd be a valued team member with your excellent insight as well. Who other than the blonde Michael Fabricant? Thank you ever so much for joining me on today's show.